guys, this is Turtles Impact episode 8, and today we're going to be talking with Steffen Clark, another really chill dude. He's into dancing, jiu-jitsu, and building his social media, trying to teach people how to get out of their fucking comfort zone when it comes to dancing and being yourself. So let's dig into it. Hope you enjoy. Cool. Raw. Have fun with it.
I'm sold.
How you been, bro?
I've been good. How you doing, man?
Making it, man. Making progress, 1% every day, right?
Yeah, I see you making progress, dude. I keep up with the content. I've been keeping up with your training and your personal training and everything, and how you've been growing it, and your not little brand, because it's like getting big, but
well, it's little. Don't sugarcoat it. It's little right now.
No, I'm gonna say little brand, and it's like, nah, it ain't little like that. Like you got a good message, you got like massive momentum going and everything like that, and you're able to get people results. And so, I'm watching you, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. I mean, I'm doing the same, man. Honestly, go ahead and give everyone an insight on what you're doing and like who you are, bro.
Yeah, man. So, my name's Steffen Clark. I'm a person who every day who's trying to figure out exactly what I am, what I do. And,
you're an all-doer, bro.
I'll tell you this. I like to. I'm a dancer, but I'm a mover. I'm a guy who likes to move. I like to help people move, and I have my own little unique ways of helping people move and moving for myself. I like to train jiu-jitsu. I like to dance, and I like to rock climb. I just got into rock climbing, indoor rock climbing recently. But and I like to motivate others to start doing stuff as well, moving their body. And then during the day I work for a tech company, work for a software company, and all I do is book meetings for prospects and for the company. And then in between times when I can, I'm trying, not in between, but the other stuff that gets a lot of my time is I'm a dad. Had our daughter 8 weeks ago.
Nice. And congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
First kid 8 weeks ago, so I'm navigating that as well, man. Just out here trying to navigate the game of life.
No, I feel you. But hell yeah, bro. I really resonate with a lot of your content. I love how you're trying to bring people out of their comfort zone. And me personally, dude, I think dancing correlates a lot with fighting and jiu-jitsu. What is your prospect on that?
Man,
on the way
it's interesting that you said that, because one of the reasons why I love dancing so much, and I actually started diving into dance, at parts of my life full time, and just still continue to do it, is because it's so beneficial in martial arts. Yeah, it's great in life, but if you follow me, you know that I love like martial arts and jiu-jitsu and MMA specifically.
That's how we met. Yeah.
Say what? Yeah,
that's
exactly.
How we met with jiu-jitsu, bro.
How we met, right? Yeah. So you know the drill. And so, but it's so beneficial to how much it helps in that area. That's why I love dance, man. And because whenever I was training at the gym, you know me, man. I'm not the biggest guy in the world. All right, people just looking at the camera, I'm 5'4", 160 pounds at my heaviest. Usually 150 or 145, but in my super lightweight days, 135, I was training a lot and or semi-consistently, but I was training and I say semi-consistently because I would take time off, right? And
I mean, your main focus was dancing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was in theater at the time too.
Okay, dope. That's
acting
dope.
And everything, and so there were periods where I'd take time off for a show or something like that, and but whenever I took time off, I'm still dancing though. That I was still dancing, and in the gym, like I said, I'm not the biggest dude or anything like that, but these guys that I had a lot of respect for, who I consider savages and beasts and strong and all that kind of stuff, would always talk about my movement. You know what I'm saying? They'd always say, "Oh, his movement," and I noticed whenever I would take those times off, whenever I get back in the gym, I'm not gonna say like whenever I got back I was better, but my movement and my skills didn't diminish as much as the guys who would take off, and whenever they took off, all they did was like lift weights.
You
know what I'm saying?
And so just trying to get big. Yeah,
exactly. And so I noticed something. There was just something really intriguing to me. Like, what is it about this dance that helps so much with movement and jujitsu and just it's really like extreme coordination. That's what dance
Yeah.
is. It's like
Yeah.
extreme coordination. And what is it? So I started diving into the science of it, like looking at studies, the benefits of freestyle and the improv
Yeah.
versus just the benefits of learning the dance routine that you can continually practice over and over again. They
Yeah.
have certain pros and cons, and then you hear about athletes who started dancing, right? Even Kobe
Yeah.
Bryant took some like tap dancing classes
Yeah.
to help rehab his ankle after he broke his ankle. You see, jujitsu guys like Gio Martinez, who originally started from breakdancing, right? And
There
then
you go.
he moved into jujitsu and really crushed it in the jujitsu realm.
Yeah.
You hear about,
And
some
Virgin
like
Game. That is the whole. Yeah.
yeah, Vasil Lomachenko, an incredible boxer. They say he moves like the Matrix. His dad had
Yep.
him in some type of Russian dance or something like that
Yeah.
whenever he was a kid, right? And this
Okay.
dude is known for his incredible footwork. So just all this kind of stuff just made me. So I started to discover all that. I should say, started to discover the benefits, and I was like, okay, this stuff is like really beneficial. It's not just dance so you can, express yourself. I'm not really an express yourself dancer, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
express yourself, but I'm not like if I have something to say, I'm gonna say it. You know,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If
For
I have
real.
something to
For
say,
real.
I'm gonna say it. But it's fun. It's really good for the body, and it helps you in all the other areas of your life. And then that's in a nutshell. I think there's extra layers to that. There's subplots to
Yeah.
all that, but in a general sense, that's one of the reasons why I started really liking dance and why I thought it was so important, and I wanted to help others do it
So
too.
okay. So did you start with like getting into sports? Did you start with dancing?
Good question, man. Sports. Growing
Sports.
up, I played a bunch of different little sports like basketball, soccer, and I really got into soccer in elementary school through middle school and high school. It was like one of my favorite, one of the main sports that I did, right?
Yeah.
But I was trash at it. I was so trash at soccer, man. And it was mindset. It was really more mindset stuff because I would practice
Okay.
a lot. I would practice a
Okay.
decent amount, but it was just mindset stuff that kept me from really excelling in soccer. And oh, I used to listen to music. There were cool movies like You Got Served that came on and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
I did like Michael Jackson and everything and Usher. And so dancing was kind of cool to me, but it's just something that I just thought was kind of cool. I didn't really,
Yeah.
I just practiced it a little bit. And I had this one show one time. There was remember Stomp the Yard?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, right. So our
Yeah.
high school had a step team, okay?
Oh,
And our
oh,
high school,
dope, dude.
yeah, our high
Where'd you go to
school,
high school at?
Owensboro High School in Kentucky.
Okay.
It's a cool high school. But I was
Nice.
in middle
Yeah.
school at the time, and we our high school had a step camp, and so
Okay.
I joined. I was into dancing, and I joined. I was into it, but like nothing serious. Nothing ever happened. So I joined this step camp, and the middle schoolers got to perform with the high schoolers, and at the
Oh, that's
end of
cool.
our routine, they get to perform it at this big game, okay? And at the end of our routine, there was this time where you got the freestyle. They selected some of the dancers, the middle school dancers, to step in the middle of the court and just
Yeah.
dance and freestyle. And it was like me and like one other kid. We got selected to dance in the middle,
Oh, that's dope.
and
Yeah.
so what happened was come performance time, we did the dance. It was cool performing in front of the, high schoolers, whatever. And
Yeah.
then whenever that freestyle moment came on at the end, I got in the middle and started doing my thing. And dude, the crowd went wild. All right. The crowd went wild. First time in my life, like I ever like the crowd went wild, like
Yeah.
cheering, and it was a pretty packed stadium, okay? And I
Okay.
just up until that point, like I said, I was sucked at soccer, right? And then you don't even get
Yeah.
those kind
This
of
is that's
audiences at
it,
soccer,
bro.
right? Never
There's a
in my
calling.
life was I able to like get people hyped before.
Yeah.
And so I went back to school, and everybody came up to me and talked to me about it, that moment. And high schoolers, whenever they would come visit the middle school, they were like, "Oh, you're that kid who was dancing at that event," and just people
Okay.
started remembering me, man. And like ever since then I was hooked on dance stuff. I was just hooked. I was like, this stuff
Yeah.
is cool. I can kind of do it. And I was so trash at soccer, but I stuck onto it as long as I could. But no recruiters ended up hitting me up at the end of high school thing, and it was.
You're like,
it is
ah,
what
shit,
it is.
fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is what it is. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. That's dope, bro. So, yeah, tell me about the dancing then. Like, how did you end up making it? Well, you're starting to make it into a career. You got quite a bit of a following now, don't you?
Yeah. On TikTok for sure. Because that's what I spent most of my time on for social platforms.
Bro,
but yeah, man, it's Can you repeat your question one more time? My wife was walking in. I got a little distracted.
You're good. With the dancing and stuff like that, with how has your career been with that? The practice.
Cool.
You said how long exactly have you been into it? You've been into what, like competitive dancing and stuff like that, right? Like it didn't just stop at Stomp the Yard, right?
Yeah.
You were your own movie, bro. That is hella dope. I'm impressed with that.
That's a good
question.
You got
any videos or anything from the past?
Say what?
You got any videos from back then?
Oh, dude, man, there's some old videos like on the
internet. You gotta post them.
You might not even recognize me because I didn't have a beard and I had long curly hair. But
bro,
old videos from back in like middle school, high school. Yeah, they're like out there. I have to like.
I'm sure. You know? That's awesome though, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's cool, dude. My journey with dance has like been up and down. I don't want to say up and down. It's just always molding and always changing around a little bit. But you know, it started off. You know, you're young, right? You wanna, like most kids, like you start doing stuff and you do theater, performance, get on stage. Your goal is to like do some cool, crazy show, right? Like get on So You Think You Can Dance, or dance for some famous artist or something like that. And so my earlier journey was probably like up until kind of college, or up until a couple years after college. That was a good chunk of my journey. Was doing some dance teaching, but also, you know, trying to just like make a name for myself as a performer, right? And if I'm being radically honest, right, radical transparency, there was a point in my life to where I kind of, you know, back then, if I'm being for real, I was what they call woke. You know, I was a little bit of a social justice warrior, like, you know, real sensitive, like trying to fight the man. And so and I just had more of those type of values back in the day. But there was a point to where my mind really shifted and my values honestly don't really align as much. There's a lot of similarities, don't get me wrong. But my values don't really align as much for that scene, right? Hollywood. I don't put so much.
Okay. Like you don't want to feel like a sellout almost.
Nah, man, I'm not. Yeah, I don't really value that kind of stuff. And you know, a lot of the ways that I speak, depending on where I'm at, you know, I can get canceled easily. Okay, like and then like a lot of people would view. So I didn't really vibe as much. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm down to perform, right? I'm down to perform. For sure. I'm down to dance for some artist or something like that. But I don't want to sacrifice 8 hours of my day for an audition. You know what I'm saying? To dance, to hopefully dance behind some other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not. Now that's cool.
You're in it for a different reason. You're not in it for the money. You're in it for the name. You want to build that brand or legacy in a way, right?
Well, there's that, and then there's so that kind of gets into like what we're transforming into now, which is kind of just more motivating on inspiring other people and helping other people dance, because I just don't you being like, now, you know, there's something cool to creating a platform for yourself or something like that, or creating a platform with others that can reach a bunch of people. But I didn't care as much. I just kind of lost interest in I still like to perform, but just the celebrity, the Hollywood journey, it's not really my journey. And so now I spend more time either creating my own performances or you know, still teaming up with artists, but it just more naturally, organically happens. Or and still doing some videos. But yeah, spending a lot of time like trying to help others dance too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
And it's funny because you're a personal trainer too, right? So I ended up dabbling into personal training.
Hmm.
I was a nutrition coach, and I was getting into like the personal training and everything like that as well. And
Yeah,
it was
you could
funny.
use dance as a as your niche, bro.
Well, that's
You
exactly
use
what happened,
dance.
bro. Because I would do like the normal movement exercises, but I had a little section in my trainings about dancing, just the introduction to just how to
Yeah,
bounce and dance, right?
yeah,
And and dude, it was the clients that one, everybody loved the bounce and dancing section, like
uh,
loved it a lot. And then
yeah,
two, the clients that kept reaching out to me and like signed up for like 1 year, 2 years, or one-on-ones, whatever, would
yeah,
pay the big bucks, or not even big little bucks, but just the people who
yeah.
consistently wanted to like train and learn, wanted to learn more about dancing. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like this is my niche. You know what I'm saying? I'm still solving the same problem of helping
Yep.
people move. Might even be helping them move a little bit better than if they
Yeah,
just did like
absolutely.
calisthenics. And yeah, but I'm just adding some music to
Yeah.
it.
Honestly, it's like, yeah, glorified calisthenics with music, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
That's
real.
kind of what it thinks about.
Hmm.
Do you choreograph your own dances?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the time I'll take class and learn people's routines, but yeah, a lot of my dances, well, especially in classes or competition routines, like you said, we did the competitive scene. I was mainly competing as a coach. Not, I don't compete as much as a dancer. Um,
Okay.
but with your competition teams or competition solos, uh, we, yeah, I'll choreograph, most of the routine. And but yeah, I've actually found this little fun. I've been in a little routine of like learning routines, in a routine of learning routines, in a habit of learning routines off like TikTok, and then
Yeah.
just doing a little video that
Uh,
way, because you can just learn so much now. It's kind of crazy.
oh yeah, no, dude, they post everything nowadays. It
Yeah.
really is simple as shit. Like I mean, that's where I get most of my ideas. Like, okay, so my schedule, like, I try to seclude an hour or two of scrolling because of that reason. A lot of times I'm not just scrolling to scroll, I'm
Right.
studying. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, what's that? Okay, cool, I could do that. All right,
Yeah.
you know. And then I mean, I use Chat GPT, which I've been getting a lot more familiar with it. Um, and it does wonders with creating ideas for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like that, you just type it. You literally, if you ask it the right question, and that it does everything for you. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, even with the Google's AI, that thing's coming up, and it's supposed to be even better than Chat GPT. So looking
Yeah.
forward to see how that kind of comes about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's ChatGPT's love, man. It's good for like, I don't know, creating titles. It's good for finding like topics to talk about. You can
hashtags.
take your
Like it
topics
saves me
and
time on
like
hashtags too.
say what?
Saves me time on hashtags too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Right.
like, give me like 20 hashtags to see how, or that are the best
Yup.
make this president. It's like, oh, bam, all right, sweet, copy paste.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's
hashtags are
crazy.
like a lot, a big part of it. So, how about let's talk about your social media journey, like on
Cool.
TikTok. How long have you been dealing with that?
So the beautiful thing about this social media journey, man, is I've been on social media for a long freaking time, dude. And it took
Yeah.
me so long to build a platform. And so, like, I started posting on YouTube, dance videos on YouTube way back in the day. Like
Okay.
before there was an influencer thing, like
Yeah.
I was right at the forefront of posting videos on YouTube. I even had videos like go semi-viral, like get 100,000 views, but I
Nice.
posted maybe once a year or something like that, and I
Wow.
had no clue what was. I didn't really understand what was happening and what was in front of me, because I didn't post consistently. Like I said, maybe once a year, and then I just had no clue what the heck was going on because I
Yeah.
wasn't very consistent. And so after high school or after college, so that's like 4 years of just like dabbling in a little bit of YouTube and stuff, and it obviously started getting a lot harder to get views because I was so at the beginning that you could get views, right? The beginning of
Yeah.
the platform.
The
But
beginning,
then it starts to get,
everyone was going viral.
yeah, right. Then it starts to get yeah, more people in there. It's more
Oversaturated.
competitive. Yeah, it starts to get saturated. So coming out of college, I was like, yo, like I really like doing this YouTube stuff. there was I was listening to a lot of ET the hip hop preachers, so I was like also wanting to motivate people too. Like that's what got me motivated into fitness, made my first physical transformation, which is like changing my mindset, my emotions, my dreams, my goals, everything. Just realign my life, and I wanted to help realign other people's lives too, like inspire them just like that. So I was like
Yeah.
making YouTube videos that were more on the life coaching, lifestyle, like reading books type of journey, but I was also incorporating some dance in it as well.
Yeah.
And it's like
Goodness.
I did like over like 300 videos on YouTube within like a couple of years. Okay. And there was a point where I was even posting twice a day. And bro, I generated like no traction whatsoever. Okay. Like none. Like, dude, like
Yeah,
nothing popped.
YouTube is YouTube. I haven't. I have seriously neglected it myself. Like I have
Yeah.
only been focusing on TikTok and Instagram, and even in the beginning, I only focused on TikTok because I mean,
Yeah.
I will admit, part of me was just self-conscious about posting to Instagram and like Facebook and shit like that, because I'm like, that's where everybody is. Everybody that
Yeah.
knows me is on those sites. Nobody
Yeah.
knows me on TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
probably know like 100 of my followers, you know.
Mhm.
So, but with everywhere else, I'm like, oh man. But you know, I was like, and then eventually, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I started listening to Gary Vee and all these influencers and stuff. They're like, you gotta post this. You gotta. I mean, Gary Vee's it's crazy. He's like, you need to be posting 55 times a day on everything. Like, I'm like, damn. I tried getting into the LinkedIn stuff, and I couldn't. I'm like, that just it's I get it, it's business related, it's might be a good idea for social media, but it's just I don't know. So I think I've seriously neglected YouTube, but I'm starting to get more into it this last probably month. I've been trying to stay consistent with like the shorts, and then
Mhm.
I use the podcast for my weekly video uploads, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so far it's I like my shorts get. I then have noticed my shorts get quite a bit of views, quite a hell of a lot more views than the actual videos. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure that out. They say something to do with like the title of it and like how it is on the search bar and stuff like that. There's all these little tricks and trades of the fucking algorithm, man. It's same thing with Instagram, and I think I've slowly gotten the hang of Instagram, just slightly, because like it started out with I was only getting 30 views per video. And then I started doing, I learned this one trick where you steal other people's audio that have millions of views, right? Low number of reels made and millions of views for the top videos on the top. You use those as and you can even quiet it down to a 2 and then higher up your volume on your video, right? I did that for a couple of them and I got like 3,000 views. I'm like, oh shit, okay. I started doing that for a handful of videos, and now I do social media so much. I started experimenting. Once I fully got out of that comfort zone, I started experimenting with it. I'll post the same video twice with a different sound or a different wording or something like that, and like just to kind of see how much different the different aspects do. I like because I mean trying to get the mentor of Gary Vee, that dude's expensive, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta do your own stuff. I mean, that's what they did back in the day. They just ran their experiments and did this and did that. So, and I've got to say, I mean, between all the platforms, Instagram and YouTube have been probably tremendously harder than
Yeah.
anything else. But then again, I mean, I can't get much more. So actually, okay, so they say posts die after like maybe a week or two. I don't think that's true for TikTok. I think that's only true for like Instagram and Facebook, you know,
Hmm.
because I've gotten like random, like the video I posted probably a year ago will get a random like every so often. I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it depends on like how it's doing in like SEO and everything, like search engine optimization
Hmm.
and like that kind of helps. Like we call it, like I've heard it referred to as like evergreen content, right? Content that you put out there and it just generates views and engagement over time. Like 5 years down the line or something like that. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, I'm like you too. Like I listen to Gary Vee. I'm a little bit the opposite because I was going so hard on YouTube and like Instagram and Facebook that
yeah,
I wasn't like I. This was the thing that not biggest mistake I made, but I learned my lesson. I told people, I had so many people tell me I should get on TikTok. So many people told me I
Yeah,
should get on TikTok.
dancing. That's where they
Yeah,
used to be. What?
dude.
Dance?
And I
Like,
said you couldn't pay me to get on TikTok. I was like, I ain't
yeah,
getting on TikTok. You couldn't pay me to get on
I used
TikTok,
to be the
right?
same way, bro. I feel you.
And what happened was there was a studio dance studio I was working for and coaching at, and they wanted somebody to take over their TikTok channel. Well, I did social media for myself, so
Mhm,
and keep in mind, at this time, none of my videos ever went viral.
mhm.
And and I can give into a couple points on like how to make your videos like get more views. How to go viral
Yeah, yeah.
increase your likelihood of going viral. Like there's a couple of points in this. So luckily this dance studio I was working for, they asked me to like do their social media, like their TikTok. And I started doing that. And so I was experimenting on the app. And then I was like, this is kind of like I don't know about this app. I should probably start my own TikTok channel so I can run experiments, figure out what works. So then I could apply it to this dance studio.
Mhm.
And so that's what got me on TikTok. Right. And I noticed like TikTok has a little bit more engagement and like views and stuff. It was just fun. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was having fun on the app, and I was like,
Huh?
yo, let me do this. Like, let me keep doing this. Let me keep running this. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. The
there's that
experiment.
job offer. That's why I even got on TikTok. But what
Okay.
I noticed is my TikTok channel, all I do is there's pros and cons to this, but if you can't go viral, go ahead and try to like niche down.
Yeah.
Niche down like hardcore, like 90%. Because like I said, on YouTube, I was doing book reviews. I was doing dancing.
Very sporadic. Yeah.
I was
Yep.
doing like talking about performance, all this kind of stuff. And on Instagram, it was kind of similar. There was just other topics I was talking about. So niching down was one. Two, but I did exactly what you did. Run experiments, man. Me and my buddies, we did I think we did like a 60-day challenge where we were posting 2 TikToks a day. And if you didn't post, you had to pay the other person $25
Oh,
for every video you didn't
there
post,
you
right?
go. Okay.
I think we both maybe like pay like $50 to each other over the course of the 60-month
Yeah.
challenge. And here's the thing. In that 60-day challenge, none of my videos went viral. None of my videos went viral. It was like the 103rd video that I posted on TikTok that went viral, and it reached hit like 1.2 million views or something like that. And it took me from 300 followers to over 10,000 followers. Okay, like 100 videos, no 300 followers. Okay, but then one video gave me 10,000 followers and took me over that, like went viral, and then
Yeah.
over that edge. So one, a lot of people expect their growth to be like this, or like they expect their growth to be like this. I don't know
No.
exactly what direction that's going in on the video. Maybe this, all right.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
really growth isn't linear, it's exponential. So you're gonna put in a
Yep.
lot of work and then you're gonna see a lot of results, right? Like think
Yep.
about your favorite musician. Nobody knows him, nobody knows him, nobody knows him. A good chunk of people know them. Oh, they're kind of pretty popular. Okay, now they're getting millions of views. It's
Yep.
not like they got like 5 followers, then 500, then 5,000, then 10,000.
Nope. Yeah.
It's exponential. Two, what I would say is if somebody's not getting views, they probably need to make their content better. And this is the only reason why I say maybe it's a good thing I didn't go get on TikTok whenever everybody was telling me to get on TikTok, because whenever I got COVID, I would say I was just a dancer and I was really good at moving my body. But in dance, like in jiu-jitsu, there's actual terminology. And if you take a ballet class, they know all the terms in ballet, right? Tande,
Yeah.
pas de bourrée, whatever. But if you take a hip hop class, most of the time it's just dance moves put to hip hop music. There's actual hip hop dance moves. So all that to say is I spent during COVID, I joined this online dance class program called Steezy.co. I went through and learned the actual terms of dance moves for styles like hip hop, styles like crumping, styles like dance hall, styles like light feet, styles like house, all these styles that I wanted to learn. I actually went and learned the dance moves. I took over like 80 classes on that program
Nice.
within like 4 weeks or something like that, maybe spread out of like 8 weeks. I'm not sure. And then I did like and don't get me wrong, like I sped up the time, like I sped up the video so I could get through it faster. But I think like 1,000 hours, over 1,000 minutes or something like that. All right.
Yeah.
Within this short period of time. And I say all this because then my dancing started to get way better because I had the foundation. We call this foundation in dance, like knowing the terms, like the wave or whatever, and then being able to make your wave look unique in your own, right? But it starts with the wave. That's a foundation, right? So all that to say, my video that went viral, Dalton, I did 5 beginner dance moves to help you get funky. Those 5 moves I did were 5 terms that I learned from that program in the style called locking. You may have heard of the style locking, right? It's this funky, fun style. I did 5 terms that I learned from this program, and I used a title, which I can tell you about. We can talk about wording and improving yourself, because I got a content coach to help me learn how to word my videos better, learn my words. I invested a lot of money, not a whole lot. Well, yeah, it was a decent amount, especially for what I was making at the time. But to like improve how to write my stuff out, right? Improve my strategy. So I use some of her methods, and then I use these 5 dance moves that I learned from this program, and it was my first video that went viral.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, I've been using some of her techniques in my first 100 videos, but nothing clicked. But, so I took the best videos from that first 100 videos that I did, that none of them went viral, and I just improved those techniques.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So I stopped doing the stuff that nobody was trying to watch. Every now and then I dabble with it still, because, maybe it was just a bad video. Maybe it's bad timing or something. But, and then, so I used some of her techniques. I used the 5 techniques that I learned from this program, and that video went viral. If you scroll through the comments, you'll see people talking about, oh, that's the lock. They call out the dance move. Oh, I love the lock. Oh, you look like this locker dancer from the past or whatever. It created relatability. All that to say is, if you aren't getting views, it might be, and this is why I like TikTok, YouTube's cool too, because you can see watch time. All right. If your videos are going from like, if it's dropping like heavy in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? First 2 seconds, it's not the algorithm. It's your hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no hashtag. It's not that. It's the hook. All right. It's the first 5 seconds, first 10 seconds of your video. It's still hard to get like ain't nobody keeping like 100% watch time or 75% watch time all the way through. 100% of viewers complete your video. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's like real low, like it's
if they're not making it past that first like 35 seconds, it's
and I will say this. I gotta sneeze. And this is my final point on like how to actually start, generating more traction.
Bless you.
Focus on one platform. Whenever I went viral on TikTok, I wasn't posting on Facebook, and I wasn't really posting on Instagram, and I wasn't posting on YouTube. One platform. Gary Vee goes viral off all these platforms because he has a whole team. Okay. Also, it's like you got to think about energy. Okay. You got to think, and this is a problem that I'm dealing with now too, because I like the jujitsu, dance, I like a bunch of different stuff. And so let's say everybody only has 10 units of energy a day. All right. That's it. 10 units of energy. All right. If you're spending TikTok, 10 units goes into TikTok. Each finger represents like a unit, okay? 1 unit goes into Instagram. 1 unit goes into Facebook. And 1 unit goes into YouTube, all right? Now you have a couple units to just make your content better, all right? Not even including like, your units to eat, okay? Okay, not even like and there's a bunch of elements to making your content better, right? So half of your units are just in these different platforms. Meanwhile, All right. Meanwhile, somebody's taking all these 10 units. So now you have literally one unit in each. You got 10 things going with one unit. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Meanwhile, there's somebody in this world and there's people out there that's taking all 10 of these units and they're putting it into one thing. So now you got a guy that's got 10 units versus a guy that's got one unit.
yeah.
What do people gravitate to? The 1 unit guy or the 10 unit guy? People, who do you think's gonna be more likely to entertain you or solve your problem? Because we do like coaching stuff. The guy
Yeah.
who spends 10 units into his knowledge and his energy into solving this problem, or the guy that only spends 1 unit.
Yeah.
Now, that's just off one day. Think about 365 days in a row.
Yep.
How that adds up, right? That's like at the end of the year, if you spending 1 unit a day, you got 365. But if they spent 10, they got 3,000
Yeah. Yep.
units of energy, right?
Yeah.
And so, like one of my mentors says, don't be the fool who thinks the laws of cause and effect don't apply to you. Don't be the fool that thinks the laws of cause and effect don't apply to you. Don't be the fool that thinks, oh, I'm gonna spend 1 unit in every little thing and it ain't gonna, and I'll still be good.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna beat the guy that's spending 100 units. I like to dance a little bit. I like to do jujitsu, and I like to rock climb. And I like to make content. I'll get Gordon Ryan, who spends all day every day doing jujitsu. I can get him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly. Exactly.
you
Yeah,
know,
I was talking about this the
like
other day. I was talking about a buddy. We was talking about the fighters.
we're still on. I think
Yeah,
my wife said, "Put your phone on do not disturb." I was like, "Yeah," because every time
that's
somebody
what I
calls,
had to do. Yeah.
yeah, every
Yeah.
time somebody calls, it switches it off. But my bad. So you were saying?
I was talking to Lou about fighters and stuff. We were talking about the MMA and the cage and stuff like that. And one thing that people don't take into account, they're always putting all their units. They're not spending 10 units in one area. That doesn't necessarily mean uh like because being in the cage, you got to do MMA, you got to do boxing, you got or stand up, you got to do ground game, you got to do cardio, you got to do some strength and conditioning, all this fun stuff, right?
Right.
So that in a sense is you want to put all 10 units in being a finisher, not someone that's wanting to toy around, you know. And that's one big because he's like, I mean, you can get in the cage and you can bounce someone around, you can try and take them down or do this, do that, But if you're not a finisher, then
Yeah.
what's it gonna mean, bro? Like the dude that knows that's going in there for that knockout punch, or he knows what he's gonna do. There is no deviation from it. Like he's gonna get you with that hook, no matter what. He's
Yeah.
gonna go in with that plan. So, yeah. When did you officially get into jiu-jitsu?
Man, I got in. I've always loved like ninja stuff growing up, Power
Yeah,
Rangers, like that, like wrestling. Like I just thought all of that stuff was cool, man. But I was kind of a scaredy boy or whatever. But there was, you get a little bit older, right? You start to become a teenager. Also, I was black, but like I was raised by my white side of the family, but I wanted to come across as like hard in the street too. But I wasn't really that way, but I wanted to come across that way. So I
yeah,
started getting a little bit more aggressive. I want to be like the rappers. I started getting a little more aggressive in like, my teen years, going into high school. I want to prove myself.
yeah,
By the way, every ethnicity or whatever goes through that phase of like wanting to prove themselves or whatever. That was just my backstory, right? But
yeah,
uh yeah, man. So I was really into this stuff. Me and my buddies, the guys that are at school, we used to. This is a long story or medium story to answer your question, but we used to. We would watch UFC. You know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and we would. The guys at my school, we would like set up UFC matches. All right, outside there was this church, and they had this big old field called Precious Blood. And we would like literally set up matches where we throw on UFC gloves and just duke it out. Like all your friends would stand. It was almost like some never back down stuff, right? Like
nice.
literally,
Yeah,
like
I remember doing some what is it? Some backyard
yeah,
bonfire brawls.
yeah, bro, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly like that. We would set up matches. Like it's almost like we had our own card. Like it was kind of incredible
yeah.
how
That's
we was
your
organizing
own
back then.
little organization. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was this guy, shout out to Cody Pops, man. He's just like super pale ginger dude. He's goofy, man. He was a goofy looking dude. And me and him had a match, right? And
Yeah.
he and I fought, and I trained for it and everything. We fought, and he ended up beating me with a rear naked choke. And I was like, oh, that sucks. So we set up a rematch, like, I don't know, a month or two later or whatever. And
Yeah.
within like 30 seconds, he did the same thing, man. He hopped on my back and he choked me out. And I was like so pissed, dude. I literally got up off the grass or whatever, drove
Yeah.
home. I said, Mom, this was my junior year of high school. I said, Mom, I'm going to sign up for jiu-jitsu. And I got back in my car and I went down to our jiu-jitsu gym and I walked in and I signed up.
Hell yeah.
I walked in, I saw, shout out to one of our first coaches, Joe Bays. Walked in, Joe Bays was there. He's a you know, he's a bit of a fluffier looking dude, all right? You know,
He's a
you
big,
see in the movies, you walk in expecting to see this jack dude, right? Like
yeah,
ripped
no,
to
he's
the gills. And Joe comes in, you know, he's a little fluffier or whatever. And I remember seeing him, I remember saying in my head, I'm like, dude, I want to talk to somebody legit. I want to talk to somebody
yeah,
legit.
yeah.
Like I want to talk to, like, you know, the guy who knows his stuff.
Those can be yeah,
I didn't
misleading.
know what I was talking about, dude.
Yeah.
I've never tapped out Joe to this day. Joe continues to wreck me to this day. There's nothing I can do against Joe. This is 12 something years later or whatever from my first time training. Joe went on to compete in ADCC and all this kind of stuff. Like, it
Yep.
was the biggest mind fuck to me. But yeah, all that to say, man, I started training like 2010,
Okay.
my junior year. And
What are
yeah,
you, what belt level are you now? Are you brown?
purple right now.
Okay.
I spent, went to college. There was, a time in my life where I wasn't very consistent. I would have a lot of
Yeah.
off time or whatever for college or, um, and then, uh, and then once I started being a little bit more consistent, I was a little rebellious, man. I never show up to gi class.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm more of a no gi guy. So
I
I was
feel you.
skipping on the gi classes. So it was kind of hard to get my belt, but I go to more gi classes now. And then I was pretty much a blue belt for like 10 years. All that to say. So
Yeah.
a year ago I got my purple belt. But
Okay.
yeah,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Are you excited for the brown? Or are you trying to work for it? Or what's that mean to you?
that's a good question, man. The Personally, man, the belts don't mean that much to me. They're cool, you know what I'm saying? And whenever I get one, I'm grateful for it. I'm not, but like, I'd rather be a blue belt tapping out black belts than be a black belt be getting tapped out by a blue belt or whatever. So all that to say, I'm just more into the skill and just being able to pull off, finish the
Yeah.
situation if I
Yep.
need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Uh, I'm a little bit more into that than I am the belt. But I mean, it is cool to like be like a black belt. That'd be cool. You can put that on your resume on LinkedIn.
Right? Yeah, there you go. I thought about that too. Hell yeah, bro. I make you better. That's another addition to you being a special personal trainer or your
Yeah,
instructor,
yeah.
you know?
What belt are you?
I am still blue right now,
Okay,
but
okay,
I have not actually gotten to train in the last like year and a half.
okay.
I took a step away. Yeah, it just, life right now.
Yeah,
Eventually, my plan is to get back on the road and start visiting and training consistently again and all that fun stuff.
yeah, dude. Swing on by the borough, man. Swing on by
I
the
will.
borough whenever you can, dude. Well, we'll get it rolling. How long you been training?
I trained for a good solid 5 years, and that was
Cool.
training. Okay, so my jiu started out in the cage, like right. I brought my ego into the cage the first time, right? It wound up being a kickboxing, and I lost, and then I got into a jiu-jitsu gym locally, and then I ended up getting another fight, and I've been in the cage 4 times now, and let's just say I really don't care for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like my jiu-jitsu, and like my philosophy behind it was like you can only get hit, you only get punched in the face so many times, right?
Mhm.
And with jiu-jitsu, like it's another longevity thing for me,
Yeah,
like with dancing and everything else. Like if you do it right and you take care of your body, like your eating and your stretching and stuff like that, jiu-jitsu can help you live forever, dude. Like
yeah.
legitimately. So I about 5 years solid. Started out 5 days a week, and then transformed to 6 to 7 because I'd start traveling around to the different gyms and stuff like that of our affiliations, right? I'd just travel with the local dudes and everything else. And then um, eventually I met Tim Northland, and he was the Fuji owner,
Yeah.
right? So I just kind of started. I was already in a competing aspect, mindset and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start. And I like my coach, the jiu-jitsu guys was all jiu-jitsu. They were trying to just stay to jiu-jitsu, or wait to get your blue belt and then jump back in the cage. This, that, and the
Yeah.
other. All right, let's do this. So I started competing pretty heavily in jiu-jitsu, um, and met him through a master's camp. Like he came down and to my coach's master's camp for Pans, I think, one year, and I was just there to be an extra body. I was a white belt. I'm like, hell yeah, an opportunity to roll with some older, higher belts. Let's do it. So I
Yeah.
went down there and did, and I was just seriously dedicated to it. When I really have I'm a very passionate person. So like when I dig into something, I just warp my life around it. It's kind of like what I'm just doing with fitness and nutrition and just trying to help people and give back and stuff like that. And the social media thing, it's kind of fun for me. I enjoy making videos and stuff like that. I know a lot, like you were saying, it has to deal with like content. My content's not the greatest. Like it could do some work. It's that hook, which I've personally been trying to work on that myself. And I always watch that. Like you're right, the first 3 to 5 seconds is what matters the most. But anyway, I've been to like after I met him, we just started working to compete, and then eventually started traveling with him. I think thanks to him, I've been to over 60 different academies. And that's how I met you guys, and I've been through. I know Joe Bays and stuff like that. That's how
Yeah.
I like. Uh, so um, I actually got promoted by Tim. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
tight. Tight.
yeah. It was through COVID. I like to call myself a COVID wrestler because, like,
Yeah.
literally all through COVID, that's all we did in the garage.
Yeah.
Because he was a wrestling coach too at one point, so we just wrestled. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did through COVID. So I was consistently training then too, because he had all of his Fuji mats. I was living with him at the time, so we just go outside in the garage. But so
That's
anyway, yeah, I've even there's a few times I was in Spartanburg, South Carolina, lived on the mats there for a while. That was fun.
yeah.
Training 3 times, dude. And even when we were traveling and like touring and stuff, we were training 3 or 4 times a day, jujitsu. And then yeah, I didn't even have time for weights. I don't know if I could back then, but I know now it's a great idea. The strength and conditioning is like a must when it comes to that stuff. I think
Yeah.
people there's so one thing I've really grown up like it's drilled into my head, and I kind of go by it now. It's like there is a difference between a fighter and an athlete.
Yeah.
A difference between somebody going in there and swinging their arms and somebody that's serious about it. Somebody
Yeah.
that's serious about it is going to go outside of the gym and take care of the fucking shit themselves and make themselves better for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, why do you? So that's one big question. What's two questions, I guess? Why do you fight, and what's a strong person to you? You know what I'm saying? Actually, yeah. That's a question for you, man. What to
Okay.
you? What is a strong person, and then why jujitsu?
I'll start with why jujitsu first. It's probably the easier question off the
Yeah.
top of my head. Easier answer. Jujitsu, man. I think one, like, whenever you can be prepared for just like you just want to be able to be prepared for a bad situation. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Um, just in case, I mean, dude, I remember in middle school, man, I went to this big festival one time and there were these kids and I didn't do nothing. And there was like this group of kids that were like, yo, we're going to jump you. And I'm like, dude, what did I even do? They're like, you ain't even do nothing. We're just going to jump you, bro. And I remember getting so scared. Luckily, I ran into like a family friend who was an adult. First, I went to the cops and the cops didn't do nothing. Cop showed me a knife. He said, hey, if you need me, you'll see me. All right. If you need me, he showed me, he just pulled out his knife like he was joking. And he's like, I will be just if you need something, just contact us or whatever. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like these dudes are trying to jump me. And I luckily found a family friend and they took me home that night. I just remember going home in middle school just so defeated, all right, because I just got
Feel you.
bullied. And
Yeah.
and just little situations similar to those. It's just not fun. It's not a good feeling. You don't want to get pushed around. And jujitsu, it sets you up for that. People can it sets you up for being able to defend yourself. All right. Being able to really it's a good feeling knowing that if you want to do something, you can do it. All right. If you need to do something, you can do it. Nobody's going to be able to physically stop you from doing it. All right. And if they do, they got to take real extreme measures. That it's just a nice feeling. You feel safer. That's just a survival aspect, right? We're not even talking about that's just the primal aspect of jiu-jitsu, right? Being able to defend yourself, being able to, defend your territory and protect your peoples or whatnot. That's just the primal aspect. The jiu-jitsu community is just so cool, man. It's always good to get in there with people who I like jiu-jitsu. I like dancing. But, what's a good dancer? What's a bad dancer? It's really kind of up to your opinion, right? Mm-hmm. It's all perspective and opinion.
Yep.
The mats, on the other hand, don't lie, right? If your stuff works, it works. Yep. If it don't, it don't. And if you want to see it, let's just go. Let's wrestle. Let's figure it out. Let's see which one works better. I love just the reality check of the mats, right? Yep. It really shows you where you are. And then the community, man, just some cool people. Like some of the coolest people I met have been on the mats, right? Dudes. I mean, it's mostly dudes. Luckily, it's cool. There's women coming in too and everything training, but most of it's dudes, right? So you really get to spend time around fairly level headed. Everybody's got their issues, and we are talking about fighters here, but but
we used to have this saying: if you're really good at jiu-jitsu, you got that trauma back in you.
Yeah, something like that, right? So, but it's really all good vibes, man. In there, most places, most of the time, always good vibes, and I like that as well. And then you get stronger because of it, your endurance. Yep. I've never sweat in anything as much as I sweat on the mats. You know what I'm saying? Playing soccer, dancing. I sweat a lot dancing, but not as much as like in a gi on the mats or something like that, right? But those are just some of the reasons why I like jiu-jitsu. What do I consider strong?
Mm-hmm. What's a strong person to you?
Strength is your ability to just endure, right? And sometimes there's like the physical aspect of strong. Being able to literally just endure a certain amount of weights, right? And be able to exert your force on something that weighs whatever. But then there's the mental aspect of it, right? Being able to like Dr. Jordan Peterson. I wouldn't consider that guy like a super physically strong dude, but mentally this dude will run laps around like intellectually, like this dude will run laps around like people, right? So he can navigate and force his will with his mind alone.
Yeah, he can.
And speech alone on millions and millions of people, right? So he can affect change in that way. So that's strength as well. But I would definitely say, whether that's physically or mentally, just resilient, right? And you're able to just endure and move stuff, people.
Yeah, heavy things and heavy things and circles and life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. All right, bro. It's already been about an hour. I won't hold you much. You said you got to be somewhere at 6, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What you got going on? You got training?
Well, we do have jiu-jitsu class tonight. But there's a class that it's like this. Pretty much, I don't know. I forget it had like this long title, but it's like almost like active shooter, active shooter class, like how to handle that stuff in a certain environment or whatever. So I'm gonna go check that out. I think that's what it is, or it might be like some if there's a community disaster team, something like that.
I feel you. Hell yeah, bro.
But
I appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah, hey, make a shout out to anybody and link all your followings, like your TikToks and everything. What's the hashtag or the @
Yeah. Yo, shout out to all the Earthlings in the world. What's good? And shout out to you, Dalton, man. You're doing some really cool stuff. Thank you for the invite on the podcast. It's really cool chopping it up. You can follow me. If you want to follow me for dance, you can follow me at the official Steffen Clark. That's STEFFANCLARK. You can follow me there on TikTok. Or I do have a jiu-jitsu page going. That's Earthling, EAR, Earthling, LING, Jiu-Jitsu. You can follow me there as well. Yeah, and then on Instagram, sometimes I just be talking shit in my stories. So you can follow me on Instagram, official Steffen Clark too. But I don't really post as much content, but I do share like stories. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, Dalton. You have a good day, man.
You too, bro. Later.